Hello, everybody. I'm Gwen Campbell-Mindes. Welcome to Gwen's Bookish Ramblings. So, this is the last time the cat will stare into your soul, looking up at you with those big, appealing blue eyes, begging you for food because, well, no, not begging. Basically, looking at you limpid-eyed because you have been unbearably cruel by not giving, food to the cat because cats. Um, this is the last installment in the Cat Who series. There is one other cookbook which I don't own and don't don't feel like tracking down in a desperate bid to be a genuine completionist. While I have completed basically this whole series, I will not necessarily complete other series, especially long ones in future. Um, because there are a fair number of series where I've read a large number of books in the series and then eventually said, okay, I'm done with this. So here we are. We're at the final book, perhaps not chronologically, but this is nonetheless the last one of the books that I will be doing, and that is The Private Life of the Cat Who. So this one is not a mystery. This is not a collection of short stories per se. This is very much a tie-in with the series. But what this is, I would say, boiled down to its essence is, I have cats. They act like cats, because cats are cats. Now, those of us who are cat people will find this indubitably charming because we will look at this and say, yes, that is a cat, and he has acted in a catly fashion. We appreciate the fact that he's a cat. Those who don't particularly like cats, and I know you are legion, will probably find this a less than appealing book. It lacks the character interactions that mark this series, the sorts of character interactions that even if you don't care much for talking about cats, you'll nonetheless enjoy Qwilleran's difficulties with writing, his interactions with Polly or Mildred or Archriker. You're not getting that in this book. What you're getting is Qwilleran's memoirs, basically. He talks in the first chapter about, or the first part of this, just about his perspective on meeting Koko. The thing is, this is in the Cat Who Read Backwards. You don't need to read this because you've read the book. If you're reading this, odds are you've read the rest of the series. The second one, Enter Yum Yum Shrieking. Again, we know this because we've read the books. A lot of these can be seen as précis of books in the series. So there's that. Some of these are just sideways notes on things that happen. And some of these, however, are a more general look at cats, because one of the things that comes up in the course of the series, once Qwilleran starts writing his column for the Moose County something, is that periodically he will write a column in which he basically asks his readership to send in postcards or to send in letters about their cats, about their lives, about their hobbies. It's something that I think many of us will be familiar with. If you read Dave Barry's columns, you'll notice that he's done that a lot too. And that is, as columnists, Dave Barry being one, seem to admit, it's about getting the readership to write their column for them. Because, of course, when Dave Barry does it, for example, he doesn't have to think up any new jokes. He just has to pull out the letters from people who had something funny or trenchant to say and just throw it down there, and they've written his column for him. Well, Qwilleran, despite being fictional, does the same thing. And so he has several parts in this where he talks about when he asks the question, do cats have a sense of humor? And he talks about hearing comments from various other people about how their cats like to steal the top of other people whose cats steal the top of their pen and bury it. Um, Cats who leave things in people's pockets, untying shoelaces being something that goes beyond Yum Yum. And these these are incidents that other people have had with their cats. I can speak of incidents like the fact that we once had a cat that learned how to open doors. That is, you would close the door and she'd figured out how to turn the doorknob and get in. Um, and you ask the question, do cats have a sense of humor? Frankly, that would depend on the cat because some of them are far too dignified for a sense of humor. But the point is that this is a book for cat fanciers. This is a book for people who have owned cats or who love cats to sit there and read this and go, yes, yes, I have seen this. You are speaking to my soul, oh person who loves and writes about cats. He includes the some bits from Cool Coco's Almanac, which was something that Qwilleran did for a while until he got tired of it and retired it. Things like a cat without a tail is better than a politician without a head, and soft cushions are for cats, all others use them at their own risk. No matter how humble, a free meal is not to be sniffed at. These sorts of things, which again, they're catly sorts of sayings, and uh, this book is difficult to describe precisely because it's it's a tie-in, and it summarizes parts of the series, and it talks about the characters, but as I've said repeatedly now, it boils down to, oh, look at cats being cats. We like it when cats are cats because we like cats because they're cats because cats. Because, of course, the phrase because cats is a reason all on its own. I realize I sound completely irrational. In any event, that is really all there is to say about this particular book, strangely enough. And I've managed to spin this out to 8 minutes, much to my amazement. So here's the summary of this whole series. This series, as a whole, is a series about a couple of major things. It's about enjoying being where you are and enjoying the people that you're with. It's about human relationships. It's about living a good life with good food and good company. And it is ultimately about being a person who lives with cats. And the mysteries, especially once you get out of those first 3-4 books during which Qwilleran is very genuinely working to solve the mysteries, the books are not about the mysteries. They're about Qwilleran and his cats and living as a single person who is happy being single, being unmarried, who is happy to just come home at the end of the day to cats. It's about companionship and friendship and a great many other things that are not concrete. And that's the biggest thing about this series is they're cozy mysteries. They are definable as the so-called cozy mystery, the mystery that isn't dark, that isn't scary, that is comfortable, that is fun to read, has light and amusing characters that people don't get deeply saddened by reading, they are very much an epitome of that sort of thing. But they are, at their most boiled down essence, about curling up beside the fire with a book and your pet cat. And so I don't ever recommend these books to people who prefer hard-boiled mysteries, who prefer something that they have to think their way through. I don't recommend these for people who want adventure and excitement in their books. I don't recommend these fundamentally to somebody who is a lover of, say, Sherlock Holmes. It's not that I think that the two things are mutually exclusive. I am, however, saying that if you're reading Sherlock Holmes or a Len Deighton spy novel, you're not looking for what's in this series of books. And the fact that these spin-offs in this series, the collections of short stories, the short and tall tales of Moose County, and this book too, the fact that these are not expanding on the mysteries, the fact that they're not expanding on excitement or intrigue or adventure, that they're expanding on cats and they're expanding on people, means that where you want to look to read this series is the same sort of place that you look to read books like Anne of Green Gables, that you're reading these as a slice of life book, not as a mystery. The books in here that are real mysteries, they're eminently good mysteries. They're okay, they're fine. But you're not reading it for that. You're reading it for the people. And most importantly, you're reading it for the cats. So what I'm going to say here is, what you want to read these books for is this. That cat that's staring into your soul asking you, "Where's my tuna?" Or if you decide to assume that this is Yum Yum or Koko, they're asking, "Where's my lobster?" because Yum Yum and Koko have expensive tastes, and luckily Qwilleran wound up being able to afford them. Nonetheless, this is what you're looking at in this series. And so I'm going to sign out on the Qwillerish Ramblings sub-series of books with the cat staring into your soul, wishing that you would give it lobster because it is a cat and it believes that it deserves lobster, which, as a cat lover, I believe that it does. And no, I don't know whether this cat is male or female because the picture that I took this off of, the site that I took this off of, didn't actually specify whether this was a male or female cat, so you can choose. I will be holding off on longer series for a bit. After I sign off on this, I will be doing some smaller trilogies, and I will probably start moving into Mercedes Lackey's Valdemar series, which, because she wrote 90% of that in trilogies, I'll be able to just sort of do 3 books in a row and then do a bunch of other stuff and then do 3 books in a row again. And I think that's everything for my announcements. I think that's it for my wrap up. So I and the cat will bid you adieu, and I will see you all next week.